The call came at 2:13 a.m. Her voice wasn't steady, too careful, like someone rehearsing grief. "Your son had a fever again. Don't worry, I'm with him." But it wasn't her words that woke something deep in me. It was the sound behind her, a laugh. Low, male. She cut the line before I could respond. I sat in the dark kitchen, phone still pressed against my ear long after the call ended. The refrigerator hummed. A pipe ticked. Small sounds became loud, invasive, violent. The laugh lingered. I stared at the half-empty glass of water on the table. My son's drawings pinned to the fridge. Her handwriting on a grocery list. Familiar things suddenly foreign. And in the pit of my stomach, a fracture spread. Quiet, invisible, but irreversible. The next morning, she moved like nothing had shifted. She made coffee. She kissed my cheek. She asked if I'd be late again. Her performance was perfect. Too perfect. I watched her hands. They didn't tremble when she stirred sugar into her cup. They didn't falter when she tied her hair back. Smooth, practiced, but guilt always leaks. Not in words, in pauses, in the way her eyes avoided mine a fraction too long. The boy sat at the table, chewing his cereal, oblivious. He looked up and smiled, the same way I did when I was his age. Or so I thought. Something cracked in me then, not suspicion, certainty. The laugh, the late nights, the phone she kept turned face down, a puzzle forming piece by piece, only one picture possible. She was not mine anymore. Maybe she never had been. I played along. I kissed her forehead before leaving for work. I asked about her day. I smiled when she spoke. But beneath the surface, I was dissecting everything. Phone records, deleted messages, cloud backups she forgot were synced. It didn't take long. His name appeared like a stain that wouldn't wash away. And then the boy. My boy. A thought I didn't want to think clawed its way into me. His hair wasn't quite the same shade. His eyes carried something unfamiliar. I remembered the doctor's casual remark at birth, strong genes, and wondered now whose genes he had meant. I ordered a DNA kit, quietly, strategically. Just one swab when she wasn't looking. When the boy slept, I pressed the cotton against his cheek. My hand shook, but I told myself it was just precaution. The package left the house the next morning with the rest of the mail. She kissed me at the door, and I kissed her back, tasting the lie, swallowing it whole. Every night after that, I lay beside her, listening to her breathe, wondering how many times she had rehearsed this betrayal. The envelope came on a Thursday, plain, clinical. I didn't open it at once. I poured myself a drink first, sat in silence, let the ice melt. Then I slid it open. One sentence. Probability of paternity, 0%. I didn't move, didn't blink, didn't breathe for what felt like hours. When she walked through the door that evening, she smiled. She carried groceries. She called out his name. The performance again. I waited until she set the bags down. Then I slid the paper across the counter. No words, just the envelope. Her eyes fell to it, then up to me, then back down. Color drained from her face. Her lips parted. Nothing came out. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. She collapsed into a chair, shaking, whispering fragments of excuses that didn't fit together. I stayed standing, watching, silent. A wall she could not climb. The next night we had guests, her parents. She had begged me not to say anything, pleaded, tears streaking her face. I agreed, calmly, too calmly. Dinner was quiet, conversation polite. And then, as I passed the wine, I set the envelope in front of her father, folded neatly, no explanation. He opened it, read it, stared at her with something worse than anger, disgust. Her mother covered her mouth. She broke then, sobbing, reaching for me, for anyone. But I was already rising from the table, already pulling on my coat. I left her there, drowning in the silence of her family's judgment. No shouting, no violence, just truth, the sharpest blade of all. I didn't go home that night, or the night after. The boy, no, not my boy, would be fine. He was innocent. He didn't ask for this. But he wasn't mine to carry anymore. I thought I'd feel hollow. Instead, I felt precise, clear, like a fog had lifted. She would live in the wreckage she built. She would see the stain every time she looked at him, every time she looked in the mirror. That was punishment enough. As for me, I learned the truth, and the truth was freedom. I lit a cigarette in the cold night air, exhaled, and finally let the last illusion die. Some fires burn everything to ash. Some burn just enough to see in the dark.